Okay, so as you all know, I do love to have a panel discussion, and there are 3 ways to access the panel. They all Panther. They all start with the Daily Heartbeat. Lip and cats don't mix, y'all. You're gonna end up with fur stuck to your lips eventually. Good morning, Exie. Welcome in. I just absolutely love it when I see the team rolling in. Abdullah, welcome in. Nice to see you. Open relationships with this scenario are important too. Oh, really? Okay. All right. So yeah, this is where we get to focus on heart share tap, heart share tap. We have 7 people in the building. I absolutely love that. As folks come in, I'll check your stats. There's 3 ways for me to be able to check. 3 things that I'll be checking for. Always daily heart me. Daily heart me and be a super fan. Daily heart me and participate in the live goal and the gift gallery. Ooh, brain. Come on now. Come on now, brain. And then daily heart me, tap the screen 1K times and share this out 60 times. That gets you on the panel. All right. So yeah, I just want to go through the things that I've learned about it, about the topic. All right. So what I've learned about that we have in common with this community, donor conceived, is that not knowing where you came from 100%. Not knowing where you came from because of half of your genetic material being missing. Like, I grew up not knowing who my I knew my adopted father, my birth father was. And that's a similar experience that the donor conceived have. Like, I don't know. I have this whole other side to me that I know nothing about, that I'm in the dark about. And I was aware of that. But I think I wasn't really aware that it was a similar experience. Like on some level that makes sense, but I don't know. I guess I just never connected the two. And it wasn't until I was, I guess, old enough to consider that for myself. Like me as a younger person who wanted to be a parent, but then wasn't meeting, anybody I wanted to be a parent with, right? Was like, maybe I'll do donor conception. But I think before I really got to do that process, I think I watched a documentary about it where they were like, I want to know. Everybody else knows who their dad is. I want to know who my dad is. And that's when it clicked. Like, oh, I get that. Because I think a 30-something-year-old Marika was like, I do want to have a parenting experience, but yeah, I was single, wasn't finding a partner. It didn't feel like it was ever gonna happen. Somebody I wanted to be connected to for life, for a very long time. So yeah, I considered it, thought about it, but yeah, like I said, once I watched this documentary where donor conceived people were like, I want to know, something is missing, I'm sad, I'm depressed. Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, maybe that's not the way to go. I mean, as far as like where it's like anonymous donor, yeah, a lot of similarities. Let me see. Someone's requesting. Abdullah, let me check your stats. Abdullah got a daily heartbeat. Awesome. is not a super fan, so that one doesn't work. Abdullah has 1 comment, 0 shares, and 74 likes. So I call that a quality engager in the making. So keep working at it. But I do want to hear from you. So yeah. I guess we have in common with anonymous donors. An anonymous donor conceived more so than just donor conceived in general. And missing medical history. That's another one that we have in common. So genetic disconnection, missing medical history, feeling that there's an identity issue, like who am I really? Who's my other side, type of thing. And then secrecy and stigma, like just like a lot of adoptees deal with secrecy and stigma. The adopted parents don't want anyone to know. They often don't tell the adopted child. Donor conceived go through that too. Okay, Kristen, let me check your stats. Okay, Kristen has 2 comments, 0 shares, and 870 likes. Okay, so almost there, because remember, we're looking for a daily heart me, which I believe you have, and 60 shares and 1K taps or likes. I don't really have friends on here. You can share it with me a lot of times. Because the point is for the app to know that I'm enjoying this space enough to share it out, because sharing is caring and word of mouth is powerful. So that's kind of the point. Not that everybody you invite will actually show up. It would be lovely if they did, but if they didn't, no big deal. No big deal. No big deal. All right. And some people struggle with the shares, and I'm always like, if the shares are a struggle, just double or triple your likes. And then you will be seen as a top high quality engager. Hold on. I felt like that needed, where is it anyways? I don't see it. Oh, shoot. No. I did it. What did you do? All right, let's get into this conversation. I'm going to start from the top and work our way down. What do you know? What have you heard? What have you seen? What do you think? What do you feel? It did need that sound. Yeah. I think maybe every time I find someone as a high quality engager, I might. I really kind of wanted the horn, but thank you. But I don't see that here. Exie laughs. All right, Christina, let's get your intro, name, age, pronouns, how you connected to this community. What do you know? What have you heard? What do you think? What do you feel about the donor conceived? Is there a difference between anonymous donor versus known donor? Your time is starting now.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm 34 years old. My pronouns are she, her. I am a former Head Start teacher, and 3 of my nephews have been in the system, and 2 of them I had through kinship. So one thing that I have noticed, which is a big deal sometimes, almost kind of like with adoption, is I never realized until I heard someone talking about it on here on TikTok, just scrolling through one day, a person who was donor conceived, they said, both of my mothers are the only ones on my birth certificate. Mm-hmm. As, parent A, parent B, or however it's listed, parent 1, parent 2, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But technically, they're not allowed to have any medical information or anything like that from the donor. So therefore, if the donor has, you know, there's things like the BRCA gene the donor could have, and then you as a woman have, you know what I mean, if they produced a girl, they chose a girl embryo or whatever, and then this girl now is showing up that, you know, she has breast cancer or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's one of those things that you're not allowed to have that information. And then they're like, well, what about the donor? That would have came from them because, Mom, you don't carry that, you know? And so it's like, oh, well, I mean, process of elimination, you could probably figure it out pretty easy, but because you still only have two sets of parents, but you're not allowed to have that. So all that testing, all that everything.
Yeah, same thing.
It can be info, depends on how written with lawyer. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I was watching somebody on there, Kristen, that said that she was like, I'm not allowed to have any information about, you know, that. And so I thought, oh,
I
wow, that's kind of.
I think it depends on how the parents, what arrangements the parents make as far as.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
just
going
seen
to an
Kristen wrote in the
anonymous
comments,
bank?
it's how the lawyer had written the paperwork. But yeah, I guess
if there's a lawyer involved,
her donor, they didn't want anything, and so they wanted to remain totally anonymous. You know, they didn't want any information given out, and so it's like, oh wow. And I feel like almost like so that was eye opening. I was like, oh wow. I mean, like that's pretty important. But also, I see where people, it's like a hallmark syndrome around even donor conception.
Yeah.
Because I'm just simply helping someone have their dream of having a child. You know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful thing to do. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, you know, and I feel like that's hyped up a lot, but I can also understand the, I want to know who my dad is. I want to know who my mom is, because there are egg donors too.
Yes.
And so they want to know and
part.
meet these people who were a part of them technically, because there is still that DNA you share with somebody out there in the world. And I've seen several people like struggle with that fact, because I just sat in there, you know, and I tapped and I watched the live for a while, and I was just reading comments, and I said, oh wow, you know, like it was really eye-opening for me. It's things I never thought about, because I was also under kind of like the guise of, oh, I could do this to make money for me, and then I can also, you know, like, hey, I'm not only making money, but I'm giving someone their dream, I'm giving someone their wish. Okay, that's fine for the other person, but what about the actual child that was conceived out of this? Nobody thought about that. Nobody thinks about those things. Wild. And just and like there are so many like I don't think the law has caught up with it, from what I was understanding, that the way donor conception works and stuff, like the law is very loose on it. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but they were talking about how laws need to progress and stuff. But I mean, that's all I really know on the subject, per se. But I can totally see and agree and understand that, wow, this is very similar in several aspects. It's just something nobody thought about. But yeah, I mean, it's really all I have to add. And I mean, I get the longing and wanting to meet somebody that you actually do share DNA with, and everything, and that, you know, you're like, do my grandparents even know? Does this, you know, I mean.
Oh, okay. Kristen says, I have a lot of information on this, so yeah, I can't wait until you're on the panel to share. Well, thank you so much, Christina. I appreciate you big time. This was something that was new and eye-opening for me. I mean, new as far as learning so much more about it that I hadn't considered. Like, seriously, I walked into the main room, and I was like, huh? I thought this was an adoption conference. Like, what?
Yes. And I shared it to Jamie too, because she's the one who kind of got me started on this.
Okay.
I mean, when she was in here one night talking, because she is a donor conceived person.
Right. Okay.
And she kind of gave me some like info here and there, and then I was just kind of scrolling on TikTok and found that one live, and I was like, oh wow, like things I never thought about, and I'm like, nice, okay. Right. I was like, never realized.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to find it all out and how similar it is to everything else. So
yes.
And I'd love to hear from Kristen.
Same. XC said, I don't know enough about this. Still, what do you think? What do you feel when you hear about it at all? Like, what do you feel? What do you think? What questions would you have? Yeah, you can still chime in. Like, I'm not looking for anyone to be an expert.
Because I'm done.
All right, thank you.
And just give it all to Exie.
Well, Exie will have her own time. You're just forfeiting yours. But no one
did. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. So the superfans are allowed to hang out on the panel. Other folks will be dropped down when their time is done. All right, Exie, you are the next one. You don't need to be an expert here. Just what do you think? About what you've heard so far? What do you feel?
Okay, my name is Exie. I'm connected to the community because I was a foster to adoptee with the same family. I'm a bio mom and grandmother, 50 and she, her.
Perfect.
Well, I guess I've just heard about this more like you see it in movies, and I can't personally say I know anyone who has done this or considered doing it. Or you hear it in the news, certain things. I remember hearing a story where I think a donor conceived child actually went looking for the father and found him, and then found out there was like 5,000 other siblings.
Right.
Like there's a lot of siblings. I don't know. Personally, that's kind of hard. I guess depending, like Kristen mentions and Christina, about a contract.
Yeah.
Of what is allowed. I guess it's a whole different situation from adoption. There's more, you have more of like options. Like if you want the father to be involved, I don't know if that's possible. Like,
yeah.
Out of curiosity, can the father stay anonymous, the donor stay anonymous, or be known, or does it have to be anonymous?
Yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't have to be anonymous. It just depends. Okay. It depends on, I believe it depends on like the sperm bank being used, and some of them are anonymous. I believe people are trying to change laws so it's not anonymous, but yeah, it depends on how you go about it. Because I know a friend of mine who I used to call my best friend, her daughter is donor conceived, and they used a sperm bank that only did anonymous. So they did anonymous matching, where they basically like did use some facial recognition software to match my best friend's wife's face with the donor's face, in hopes that the baby would look like them, right? But as far as who the donor is, it was all anonymous. It was all, yeah.
Oh wait, I'm lying. I just remembered. I have a cousin who did do this.
Okay.
I just remembered. Oh my God, yes. So that's the only person I know. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. Yeah. Okay, so she was in a relationship with another woman, but they broke up now. but they were married, and my cousin was the one that carried, and they went to yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, she's the same age as my grandson, so I completely forgot.
Okay.
But yeah.
So the baby is
and I
too
think
small
she
to
did.
know to be like, so do you want to know who your biological father
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think as you were saying that, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar about the face recognition to kind of match up.
Right.
Yeah. Because so of course my cousin is Puerto Rican, and her partner at the time was she was a white woman. So I think they picked someone who was kind of in between.
Okay.
But yeah, my little cousin came out with blonde hair, blue eyes, gorgeous, but with like her mother, like an olive skin tone. So she looks very European, gorgeous. But okay, yeah. Oh, thanks for sparking my memory. But
right.
yeah, but that's the other person. But from what I know, I don't think they've ever mentioned about wanting to know who the donor is.
Yeah.
But I guess they haven't gotten to that point yet because she's only 6.
Okay. Yeah. My friend's daughter is 11 now, and I think she has questioned already. Like, so everyone has a dad. Where's mine? I think she has already asked some of those questions, and it's like, well, yeah.
That's a whole.
Yeah, I think she started asking those questions probably when she was like 8, like 7.
Oh, so it's been a bit that she's questioning.
So she
I
knows.
guess it's probably like that school age, you know?
Yes. When you start going to school and you see this one has a mom and dad, this one has a mom and dad, this one has 2 moms, but they know who their dad is. This one has 2 dads, but they know who their mom is. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it is similar to us in that way too, and as far as the missing medical information too. You know, because
aren't they supposed to? I mean,
like
wouldn't
I said,
it be necessary if you're making the decision to donate?
Yeah, they usually do all sorts of testing and everything, but does that information get passed? Oh, let's hear from Kristen.
Okay. No, go ahead. I'm done. 'Cause like I said, I don't have much. All right.
She has to leave soon, and I just looked at her stats that look amazingly good. 8 comments, 20 shares, 2.3K taps. Awesome. Where is it? All right, Kristen. Let's get your intro. Name, age, pronouns. How are you connected to this community? And your thoughts and feelings and knowledge on this topic.
Hi. Okay. So name Kristen, age 40, and how
Pronouns.
I'm in this community is I'm an adoptive parent.
Okay.
And I know a lot actually about this.
For pronouns.
Okay.
Pronouns.
She, her. Sorry.
Got it. That's all right.
Okay, and I know a lot about this topic for several different reasons. One, we actually went down this route, and to have a donor-conceived child, but I also, with my work that I do, work with a company who has sterile devices that help people have help the sperm get to the egg
No more
without
turkey
going
basters?
through. Yeah, without turkey basters. Yes, it helps. It helps it, and it's sterile, and they don't have to spend all of the money at the getting IUI or IVF and all of that. So, one thing on a personal level that we did, we were adopting. it was a very, 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 very long wait. And we did decide to go down this route as well. And with that, when we were looking into adoption and everything, we really wanted it to be an open relationship. So when we considered this option to become parents, we also wanted it to be open. So we actually, and the route that we were going was not just sperm donor or egg donor, it was embryo donor. So it was complete. Yeah. It was a completely different, same, different, Yeah. And so I would have besides epigenetics, which passes on very little bit of your genetics, I would have no genetic relation. Yeah. And so with that, it was almost like dating for a little bit. Like, we met with different families who they had a lot of, when they went through infertility and they decided to go with IVF, the family that we were matched with and we decided to work with, they had 3 other embryos that were just going to stay frozen. And so you can destroy them, you can donate them, or you could use them. And so they chose to have 2 children, and then they had the other embryos frozen for a long time. Sorry. They had their other embryos frozen for a long time, and they were debating on what they felt was comfortable for them to do, and they landed on embryo donation. And with that, they wanted an open relationship. We wanted an open relationship. So, we talked for almost over a year, I think it was, before we decided that, this would be a good fit, because
that's a long time.
We wanted that open relationship. We wanted our kids to know who their biological parents were, and so, we would have to all work together in that, and they are part of our family. And I did have a miscarriage, but with that, they are still my children's auntie and uncle. Like, they are still in our lives, and they're still, we're actually getting ready to go on a vacation with them. They're still our family, and so, so there's on that personal aspect. And on the other side, when I'm talking about that device, there's not a lot of regulation when it comes to, like, a sperm donor. You can go and get sperm from a sperm bank, but and that might give you more information, but a lot of people either can't afford that, or choose to do it at home, or that they have a friend that they want to use, or whatever that scenario is. God, somebody keeps calling me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like,
so whatever, I'm like, I'm busy. So whatever that scenario is that they choose to use this device and use it at home, they can decide on whatever they want on that. And it's not, they don't necessarily have the medical information. They can get with a lawyer and have certain things drawn up that way if they choose to. They could choose not to as well. And there's a lot of people online there's a lot of gross people online who have wrong reasons for donating to. So there's it gets very foul, like very, very bad. And there needs to be a lot more regulation with that side of things. So it could be a very beautiful thing, but just like anything, there's 2 sides. So but the contracts and stuff like that, there is more options, I think, with like open, it just depends on the people who are going into it and their mindset before. So I do think that there needs to be more like education around that in general.
Yeah.
So that's my.
Well, thank you so
But did
much.
anybody have any questions
Right,
or
if
anything? I
there's-
have to leave in like 2 seconds. But
Okay, if there's any questions for Kristen, please do put it in the chat. Exie is on the panel. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute. But I know, so I actually know, I have 2 friends that have children that were donor conceived. One of them was an anonymous donor. One of them was, she wanted to know who the donor was. She didn't go through a sperm bank. She actually like interviewed people that she knew. And at the end of the day, the person she settled on, heavy on the settled part, you know, and met with the lawyer and had things drawn up like he's not obligated to participate in parenting, to participate in financially or anything. But I do think at the end of the day, she was disappointed about how checked out he was.
yeah,
You know, I think she was kind of hoping that he would want to be a little bit more involved. Her son, who is my godson, is, what is he, 16, 17 now? But he knows who his donor is. He has communicated with him and talked to him. I believe he has one brother connected to the donor, but yeah, from what I see from her, it's just disappointment on top of disappointment, because she really wanted a partner and to be married and to have a traditional family, and then, you know, she delivered her son on her 40th birthday, you know, and so they actually have the same birthday. I think that's cute, but
that is sweet.
yeah, but like I said, I think even with the donor that she settled with, it wasn't her number one choice, and he has been basically checks in from time to time. But then that's what she thought at the time that would have been fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I have to hop off.
Thank you so
People
much
are
for being
literally
here.
waiting outside of the car, but
Oh, wow.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's my daughter's kindergarten graduation today.
How
So
fun. If you're around later
Thank you.
on, join us at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be continuing the conversation then.
Okay, bye guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. All right, cool. So that was Kristen, who has a little bit more experience than we do. And yeah, I just really wanted to bring this into our team space, because this is a topic that so many people don't know nothing about, or know even less about than they know as far as just traditional adoption. And it's important to talk about, because the thing that came... Go ahead, Exie. I'll give you an additional 5.
No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying that, what was I saying? It's gone, so go ahead. It'll come back. It'll come back.
I already know. All of my friends the same age as us, it's like, go ahead, just say what you gotta say. What was I getting? Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say I had too many questions. I had to, and I know she didn't have time, but so the donor conceived embryo, so that's already a fertilized egg. I know I'm gonna sound ignorant, but it's already a fertilized egg with the sperm, and then so she was saying, so I've heard that some people, they'll extract the eggs as many as possible, and then they'll save them, and then whatever they don't use, I've heard that also, either they destroy or donate.
Right.
So that's almost like adoption.
Yeah, and there has
of some sort.
There have been custody battles over embryos, like where, there have been custody battles, like who owns them if said couple gets divorced, like.
Oh, I did hear again on TV that actress Sofia Vergara, I believe, with her, like years and years ago with I don't know if it was her husband at the time, but I remember hearing that there was a custody battle because she did, they did that. They had they were going to start their family, but then they broke up and she decided she didn't want to have any of them. And he was fighting to have them.
Yeah.
To get custody, but I don't know what was the outcome. But yeah, I do remember hearing that. I was like, wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that is so, like, how does that work out? Like, like in that case, the mother doesn't know. She changed her mind.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have someone else carry your children. I don't know. I feel like for a mother, there's more emotion to, and this is just my opinion. I can't speak for anyone else, but I would just feel like there's more for a woman, like more emotion. Like, no, it's just gonna be that constant, like, oh, there's someone else that carried my baby, or, my opinion. But
I mean, maybe,
but yeah,
maybe it's similar to a birth mom that loses their baby to adoption. Maybe it's similar. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe next week we'll be centering the voices of birth parents and find out. But so I just, me, I love to do a quick little internet search, and it says, in a divorce, frozen embryos are treated as a special category of joint property rather than as legal children. Ownership on who gets to decide their fate, destruction, donation, or implantation is primarily determined by the prior written consent agreement the couple signed with their fertility clinic. So it sounds like you have to decide that before you even create these embryos. Like, okay, through this process, if y'all should divorce, what's going to happen here? And then maybe someone's signing over parental rights. If we should get divorced, it's all on you, I'm done. Or if we should get divorced, we still have to, it seems weird to say co-parent, but we still have to, like, decide together,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like now, as people who are the product of these processes are getting old enough to speak out, their stories are being told. Their stories are being told too, just like ours.
Yeah. And I'm just still stuck on what you said about they're considered property, marital property, and not like custody of the children,
because it's not a child
so
yet.
crazy.
It's
I guess,
not a child yet, which is interesting when you
because they're
I feel like that's interesting when you think of the whole right to life conversation. It's like, okay, so in the freezer you are not a child that we fight for and protect, but once you're implanted, then you are.
That's just so complicated. It's so complicated,
right?
But I'll just stay away from that subject because I don't know. That's just a whole other level of confusion.
Yes. Well, let me see.
Wow.
Oops. Okay, there are many donor-conceived memoirs out there.
Oh.
Read them. I highly recommend it. Read them. Yeah.
Imagine that conversation. Like, hey, where's my dad? Well, we picked you out of a basket.
Well,
like, I don't know.
Well,
like,
no,
how does that?
I feel like the donor.
That's so complicated.
If you're looking for a donor, and you go to a bank and they show you the book of profiles, and you kind of pick a guy like, oh, he's athletic and he's good at science and he's muscular. I mean, you don't know for sure, but it's all based on how honest the person was and how honest the facility is. But yeah, I recommend it.
Wow.
There are donor-conceived memoirs out there. Inconceivable, a memoir. My Donor Story. They're out there. donor conceived voices. There's a whole website just for donor conceived voices. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I think so. And like I said, there's overlap between them and us as far as adoptees. You know,
Yeah.
missing genetic material. Who am I? Where did I come from? You know, identity stuff. Medical, like birth certificate changed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my friend who has the 11-year-old daughter, her birth certificate, I believe, her birth certificate says my friend's name and my friend's wife's name at the time. You know, they planned.
Yeah, that's how my cousin's is also. Yeah.
Right, but is that accurate? I mean, maybe it's accurate as far as this is who was taking responsibility for me when I was born, and maybe that's another way to look at our birth certificates that have been changed. But I don't. It definitely makes it interesting, to say the least. Welcome in, Lala. Hi. So yeah, this is why I wanted to talk about this. I hope so far since I've been doing these lives, I feel like we've only had one actual donor conceived person come through. So as far as I can remember.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Only one.
I remember. Yeah.
And I wonder if that is because a lot of donor conceived people don't see adoptee spaces as spaces for them. When
that's true.
When it totally could be, because there is overlap.
Yeah. So okay, so going back to the fertilized embryo, is that almost like an adoption? You're adopting their embryo. Is it considered that, or are you purchasing it?
I think you're purchasing it.
Okay, go ahead, Google
it.
Well,
no, because I know, right? Because it's supposed to be donated. It's not supposed to be sold. It's supposed to be donated.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
You see the terminology in these situations, but it's almost the same. Different terminology, but almost the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It says yes, embryos are adopted through legally, though legally the process is usually classified as a specialized form of property transfer.
Property, that's like, okay, here, I'm gonna sign over the title of my car to you, Marika.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Wow.
Yeah, property transfer or embryo donation. It allows individuals or couples to use frozen embryos left over from someone else's IVF cycle to achieve pregnancy and give birth. So that's pretty. It is considered adopted because it was donated. So it's not considered a sale like purchasing a car. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. But yeah, like I said, I went to the conference, Untangling Our Roots, and when I walked in and it said, former foster youth, adoptees, donor conceived, I was like, huh? What? I was like, wait, what? And then as the conference was going and I was listening and getting more information, I really was like, whoa, okay. All right, no problem, Exie. I was like, okay, I got to bring this information to the Wildflower team and see what do they know, what have they heard, what have they experienced, what do they think, what do they feel. I wanted to know. All right, let me see. Any comments over here? Nope, no comments over there. So yeah, I think it's very interesting when you really break it down, the similarities that we have. So genetic disconnection, um, yeah, growing up, not knowing like where do I get this nose from, or something I used to do as a kid, because I was in foster care first, former foster youth, knew who my mother was, had no idea about my birth father. So I would just really, for real, stare in the mirror and try to take away the parts that I knew or I really felt strongly came from my birth mother and see what's left. See what's left and try to imagine what my birth father looked like. And I bet you there are some sperm donor conceived people doing that have done that. Like, okay, these eyes are clearly from my mom, so let's take those out. This nose is clearly a combination of my mom and somebody else. So let me just try to like imagine my mom's parts gone. It's work. It's work. And then to try to imagine a whole face, a whole man's face. That would be my biological father. That's a lot. But I used to do this from time to time, where I would literally be in the mirror for like the longest, like, I wonder. Everybody in my bio family is really tall. And my grandmother told me she thinks that I am not very tall because my bio father was short. Her words, short and ugly. That's all she used to say. Oh, I remember him. He was short and ugly. And I was like, wow, okay. But apparently he had a very sweet personality and was very funny. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's what I got from him. Because I have been described as having a sweet disposition and being funny, having a good sense of humor. Maybe that's what I got from him. But the point is, a lot of time and energy is spent trying to piece together a person to imagine and wonder. And wonder if you have siblings, other siblings on that side. It's a lot of work. And I know donor conceived go through that. Yeah, that took a lot of time and energy of my life. Now, missing medical history, I had never even thought about until I was an adult. Missing medical history is something I never even considered growing up. It was only me as an adult going through menopause, actually. Because I think I thought that whatever medical stuff that I have going on would be from my mom's side. I think if I ever even gave it a thought, fleeting, briefly, it was like, well, I know who my birth mother is. So that's all I need to know. But as an adult, starting to go through menopause, I found out that all that is from the father's side. So my menopause experience will mirror the women on my father's side. I didn't know that. At least that's what I have been told. Let's see, shall we?
Sorry, Marika, I had to take that call. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. Your time was up anyways. It's all good.
Okay. No, because you were in the middle of talking. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I'm just doing a quick little search. All right. Wow. And this makes me so angry. This makes me so mad. So basically, what I was saying was, I had never considered the medical information being a loss to me. It never dawned on me that was like a real loss until I started menopause. I always thought as long as I knew who my birth mother was and could find out medical stuff from her, that I didn't have to worry about that at all. The truth is, all right, I just looked it up just to be sure that I got even accurate information. Yes, a woman's menopause experience can be influenced by her father's side of the family, as menopausal age and symptoms are highly hereditary, 40% to 85% genetically determined. So basically, what a lot of women don't realize is their menopause experience will mostly mirror the women on their father's side. I didn't know that. Which is interesting, because what I know about my mother is that she started menstruating later, like when she was 16. And I think went through menopause at the typical age, like 50-ish. Whereas the women on my father's side, I found out after doing DNA testing and finding my father. Well, I didn't find him. I found his sister, because he has passed away. All the women started menstruating early and went through menopause early, like me. Like, started at 10 and started menopause at like 36. And it's like, having that information, maybe I would have frozen some eggs or something, like, but I didn't know. So I was on the fence for the longest, like, do I want to be a parent? Do I not want to be a parent? Maybe yes, I have time to think about this, no big deal. Women are having babies later. I got time, there's no rush. And next thing you know, hot flashes, and I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not that, because I'm young and I have time. And you know how women's cycles will sync up depending on who you're hanging out with. So at that time, I was hanging out with this group of women that were much older than me. I was like 35, 34, 35, 36, I'll say. And they were all entering menopause in their early 50s. So when I started feeling like I was having hot flashes, I thought it was just because I was hanging around them that, my body was attempting to sync up with them. So I did not think that I was actually going through perimenopause. It wasn't until years later, when I had no more cycle, that I was like, wait a minute. Got hormone tested, and they were like, oh yeah, you are postmenopausal now. I was like, what? I cried and cried and cried like a baby, because I really enjoyed the possibility. Like, I could if I wanted to, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think I enjoyed the possibility while I was looking for this perfect partner to have a child with. But then when I was told it's over for you, there's no possibility, it's done, it's a wrap. I think I was 40. I think I was 40 when that happened. They were like, you are postmenopausal. Like, you're not even in the middle of it no more. You're done. And then to do the DNA testing and meet my aunt, my father's sister, who was like, oh yeah. And then to find out I have a sister on that side who went through something similar, because she didn't realize that either, that all the women on the father's side had early menopause. So, yeah, the medical history is important to know on both sides, not just mother's side or not just father's side. All right, Ian. Hey, Ian, do you want to chime in?
I'm still doing stuff, but I did write some stuff in the chat, because honestly, this right here is really mind-blowing. Just period.
Oh, wait, let's get your intro real quick. Intro real quick. Thanks.
Still 49. Oh wait, Exy, didn't you have a birthday? Or it's coming up? I think it's coming up.
No, X is an Aries like me.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It was just the M, the May. Yeah, it's toward the end of the year. I mean the month. Anyway, okay. 49. She they connected to the community by being married to you, the host, learning about foster care and adoption, and from the experience of the panel, Liz, the team, the wildfire team. Okay, so yeah, it's just all amazing to me how we, just as humans, not me, how we can just have the like autonomy over like children and now for today like embryos, like the eggs in our bodies, right? Like for them to take it out and then it becomes a property. And then I didn't even know that it could go, well, yes, I did. Okay. So I really wasn't thinking deep about that. But like then it can go in someone. And then like, do people even think about what the humans that are made from these like go through?
No.
Like, I mean, it is just like with foster care and adoption. But they are already here, and then they can have some. I mean, they're gonna have their, and that's another thing too, right? So the baby is in there, but that's not their actual like DNA. So the maternal separation part,
Yeah,
right?
it can still exist.
Yeah, because you still spending that time together. That's why they always.
I think it still exists as far as like surrogacy, but not necessarily if say I take on an embryo and grow it in my body and deliver the child that is going to stay with me. I don't think there will be maternal separation trauma, but.
So you're saying that the embryo, while it's in the freezer, is not suffering?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so. I mean, our memory doesn't go back that far, but one day maybe it will, and then we'll find out.
I mean, we
maybe
9 months, 10 months is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say that's why they always say like be in community, because over time you get to learn the person and and you're more of like a family. But yeah, this is mind blowing, because I don't think whenever it got started, I don't think they should have. Because it just it's hurtful. Maybe it was good intentions. I don't know.
Definitely good intentions. I'd like to believe.
I don't know, because I mean, yeah, it's amazing, right, that you can do that. Yeah, all of this is just something else. And you know what I wanted to say too earlier, because I was outside and I was just thinking, because racism isn't everything. And I am really curious, like, do black men have, like, is there a sperm bank donor, like, just for black men?
No.
Because I'm like, what is that? I really want to know, like, what's the percentage? And do people go in there, like, I want to get a biracial or multiracial? Because, like, wouldn't you have to know your own information to be a donor? Because then they're already not going to have, depending if it's open and closed, they're already not going to have that information. Mm-hmm. But like myself being biracial and really growing up didn't know what the heck I was. But like, would my egg like, would they say black? Would they say white? And then, depending on percentages.
Oh.
And then same thing with the sperm. Like, do they... Oh, wow. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah,
Jamie
yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
But this is... It's just amazing. Because I'm like...
Swimmer bank.
A lot of the people that... Do they go in there being like, I just want... Like this type of baby, just like what I heard, stories about the people saying, I want, this color eyes, this, for actual baby that's already born. But do they do the same?
I'm pretty sure.
I
Yes.
feel like I got a lot of questions because I'm just like,
yeah, I'm
it's
pretty
amazing.
Sure, yeah.
It's amazing because listening earlier, I just was like, do people even think about what the child, the baby, the child, the adolescent, the adult is going to go through when they do this stuff? Yeah, okay. I'm done.
Yeah, as far as I know, because of how strongly the whole blank slate theory was pushed, people think I'm going to get this baby who is a complete blank slate, and they're going to be how I raise them to be. So I think people don't think about how this whole process is going to affect this person when they are an adult. Let me see. So we got some Jamie, welcome in. Jamie said there's no evidence of maternal separation trauma in donor conception or surrogacy based on existing research. I imagine there would be maternal separation trauma with surrogacy because the surrogate is usually carrying the child for someone else. And then Jamie said, we don't know why that would be the case, but it needs to be studied more because it would honestly benefit a lot of different populations. Yes. Now, I feel like embryo donation in maternal separation trauma, I don't think so. I can't imagine that being a thing. Yes, but it's very small bank located in DC. It's the first Black-owned swimmer bank. Sort of sometimes, but generally they are looking for a donor that matches their partners. Right. Most people that are looking for a donor, whether that be an egg donor or a sperm donor or an embryo donor, are looking for folks that match them and their partner. So, because we're obsessed with phenotype and how us looking like a family. Everybody has to match and kind of look like each other because that's how it would be naturally, So let me see. Demographics, if they have a partner. Right, exactly. Jamie, if you want to get on the panel, which would be awesome, there are 3 different ways. They all start with a Daily Heart Me. Daily Heart Me and be a super fan is one. Daily Heart Me and participate in the live goal or gift gallery. Daily Heart Me and 1K taps and 60 shares. If the shares are overwhelming, you can always double your taps or triple your taps even. So let me check your stats. I see you have requested up, which is fantastic. Oh, wow. Okay, 10 comments, 0 shares, 0 likes. Ooh. So does that mean you're about to be a super fan or participate in the live goal or gift gallery? So yeah. Those are the 3 ways to get on the panel. Exie has a question. All right. What's your question, Exie?
No, like more of a comment. Like, okay, so when EM was speaking, God, I just lost my train of thought.
It'll come back.
I just lost my train of thought. I was just gonna, going back, I was just gonna say, I put it in the comments. It's like, it's the same process, but different terminology. And, no matter how, okay, if a child isn't conceived the way we're supposed to be conceived, or not conceived, but if it's not the natural process of a mother carrying a child, there's always going to be trauma. There's always going to be trauma because it's that separation.
So you think there could be separation as far as the embryo? Like separation trauma?
That case seems a bit different.
The instructions, and I need to go pick up food. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jamie.
Oh wait, does she want to come on?
She said, I don't remember the instructions and need to go pick up food. So it sounds like she doesn't have time to do the things.
Oh, okay. God, what was I saying? Oh, so as far as, but there's going to be some sort of trauma as they get older and they're questioning where they came from. That's a trauma in itself. Like,
that you have to question it.
Yeah, you don't have the I hate the word privilege,
but it is.
But you don't like of knowing who we are, like of where we came from.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so EM has her natural mom that she's been with, that she grew up with.
Yeah.
She knows who she is. She doesn't have to question. Yeah, she doesn't need to question.
Yeah, she knows both parents.
But, yeah. So this it's different from us. Like, how many times have we looked in the mirror, Marika, and we're like, who do we look like? I don't look like these people. Where did I get this attitude from? Why are they saying I'm such a bad kid, but I'm not a bad kid? Like, it's just so much more.
Yeah.
So much more.
Yeah.
Oh, she did want to come up.
Yes, but I don't know what I need to do to come up. So there's 3 things. I believe you got to daily heart me. Yes, daily heart me. And then you can do 3 things. You can become a super fan. You can participate in the live goal and gift gallery. Or you can share this out with the power share and tap the screen 1K times or more. So there's 3 different things you can do. You just have to decide which one you want to do. And that's how you access the panel. But yeah, I do want to hear from everybody about this, because there's, just like with adoption and foster care, so many people either have no clue or have wrong information or just have gone off of what they've seen in TV and movies and don't know. And I think it's important to talk about, because like I had never even considered that this is a part of our community. This is a subset of our community. But it is. And the thing that really stood out to me at the conference was, what's a power share? Okay, awesome. A power share is where you hold down the screen. A white box will come up with a list of names, and next to those names will be the word send. Just push send all the way down. It's not important that all these people actually show up. It's important that we are telling the app that I'm enjoying this space enough to use word of mouth, to tell someone else about it. Because the app has the ability to support or repress a live. We want our live supported, not repressed. So that's the kind of the point. And it gets you 60 shares right off the bat. 1 power share. Hey, Yup Wup, welcome in. Thank you so much for sharing the live. Yes, it looks like the beginnings of a strong power share, Yup Wup. So yeah, that and tapping the screen 1K times, which literally takes like a few minutes of this. Just a few minutes. And if I knew where my other phone was, I could really show you what I'm talking about. But I don't. We're going to pretend my phone is in here. So yeah. Thank you so much for tapping the screen, Jamie. I appreciate you. So yeah, you can hold down the screen. A white box will show up. Push send all the way down. Send. And then I'll check your stats, and then you'll be on the panel. It's just your way of supporting the room and being like, yes, I'm in support of this space and the information coming through in this space. There we go. So yeah, when people come up, I do ask for a introduction, name, age, pronouns. How are you connected to this community? Meaning, are you a foster parent, adoptive parent, a bio parent with children in the system, a foster parent, a former foster youth, an adoptee, social worker, caseworker, anything like that. And now maybe I need to add donor conceived. Maybe I need to add, I think I need to add that. Oh, so we do want to hear from you. Yes. I knew there was one person who comes in. All right, I'll make an exception because I can do that. All right, I'm making an exception because you are the one and only donor conceived person on the Wildflower team. And we need to hear from you.
Okay, so I forgot that you went to the Right to Know conference. Right to Know, I would say largely...
Let's get your intro first. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm Jamie. I am 30. I don't remember the rest of the stuff. I'm donor conceived. Mm-hmm. I also formerly worked as a guardian ad litem in Florida. Uh-huh.
So pronouns, I think, is the only thing left.
She, her.
Perfect.
I forgot you went to the Right to Know conference, which explains some of the stuff that you're saying. Mm-hmm. There is zero evidence based on existing research on donor conception and surrogacy that either cause maternal separation trauma. And it doesn't make sense. I recognize that. But we can't just assert that something exists when all existing evidence says otherwise. The best we can do is say that we need better research, like more robust research with more participants, longer study periods, so on and so forth, so that we can either demonstrate one way or another that maternal separation trauma happens in these populations. Because if it actually doesn't happen in these populations, we want to know why, because that could be applied to other communities that could potentially lessen the harm to those communities.
Well, let me ask you a quick question then. My understanding of maternal separation trauma is the womb you grew in being separated from that. So to me that only could possibly apply to surrogacy. Like, I grew this child as a surrogate for someone else, and now we're separated. So to me, that would have similar maternal separation trauma. Now, as far as an embryo, I think that's too early on to create maternal separation trauma. Is this your understanding of it, or is your understanding something else?
That is largely my understanding of it. I have heard it defined with genetics, but I don't know. But what I can say is, like, when you go and look and try to look into, are there some sort of different outcomes? Is there an increase in cortisol levels? Are there these things in people born through surrogacy? The answer is no. And so if the answer is no, based on these small studies that we have, what we need to do is ask for larger studies. We need to ask for these surrogacy agencies to partner with research institutions so we can get more data and find out if that's true or not true. Because if it's true, we should try to find out why, because that could be potentially applied to, for example, private infant adoption, to lessen the trauma to that population. And so I find it very unhelpful to just assert that it exists, which I understand some people in this space do because of the parallels to adoption. But in the absence of evidence, I don't think that actually benefits either community to do that, because all we're doing is saying we don't need evidence. We're going to advocate without this evidence, and that's not going to change people's minds that aren't adoptees or aren't surrogacy born. It's like when you're talking to legislators, you need, or different people that you need to have change their mind on these topics, you have to bring them evidence, a lot of evidence in my experience. It's not enough to just simply advocate from lived experience.
Okay.
They want, like, tangible harms.
And maybe there aren't enough people conceived through surrogacy talking about maternal separation trauma for us to know. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying when we try to quantify what maternal separation trauma is and means, and then we look at those metrics in the populations that are born through surrogacy, we don't see it. And I don't know why that is, but that is what but the studies are small. Like, that's part of the problem. And so it's funding. Well, that's one of the reasons that the studies are small. But they are longitudinal, so they continue to look at people over time. Susan Golenbach is one of the researchers. Rosanna Hertz is another researcher on this topic. I'm trying to think who else. There's a couple that do a lot of the research that I would recommend starting with, but the evidence is just not there. And so we need more funding. We need more people who are entering these surrogacy arrangements to know that they can participate in these studies and get enrolled in them so that we can have that data long term.
Okay. So maybe what makes it different is intent.
It could be that. It could be knowing from the beginning and the hormones in the surrogate's body. It could be...
Yes.
Some communities practice a lot more genetic surrogacy, actually, which you would think would be a direct parallel to adoption. But maybe something about that's often a family member, a sister, something like that, who then is more involved with the child, continuing on a continuing basis. Maybe that has some impact. I don't know.
Right.
But we have to look into it. We can't just say that it exists.
Because I would assume it would be exactly the same. But just by doing a quick little internet search, is maternal separation trauma in adopted infants the same as in infants conceived with a surrogate? And it says no. They are fundamentally different experiences. While adopted infants often experience relinquishment or separation trauma from being severed from their biological mother at birth, surrogacy-born babies are typically raised by their intended parents immediately from birth, meaning they do not experience this early severance. Interesting.
It could even be lack of attentiveness, or we don't know, because we know that it also occurs in other populations. That's why I say it could help a lot of people. We know that maternal separation trauma can occur in NICU babies, and so maybe it has something to do with touch. Maybe it has something to do actually with genetics, because oftentimes they are not using a completely unrelated embryo. One of the parents is related to the child that's being born that they're then raising. I don't, so maybe it's actually not just solely maternal, it's paternal too. If they're using I don't know, but the research just doesn't back it. That's the problem. Right.
And there's so many could be's, especially in the case where, a couple is donated an embryo, so the embryo is not connected to either parent. Then what? And my thinking is there's no separation trauma, because that's the womb you grew in, and then, you know what I'm saying? So without a surrogate involved, maybe there's not going to be, but there's a lot of maybes.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's not, we don't have the evidence for it, but we have evidence for other things.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody was calling me. A lot of what we advocate for, we do, the need for medical information, or the desire for people to know where they come from. So there is good data that people born through surrogacy want to know who their surrogate is, want to know who their donors are. Not all of them, and in varying degrees. So there's this group that's called Them Before Us. They try to pretend that they advocate for donor conceived people. They just speak over us, and they have literally no people who are born through donor conception involved with them.
Oh, wow. Them Before Us?
It's terrible. They hate everything. Mostly gay people, but neither here nor there. They advocate against everything donor conceived people are advocating for in practice. They might say that they are advocating for identity release and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But when they come into a state and oppose our bills, they're certainly not doing that.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
So they're terrible. They hate our parents more than they care about the children.
Yeah, I get that. Now, were you at the Untangling Our Roots conference?
No, so
Okay.
I don't have a great relationship with the Right to Know people
Okay.
because, well, kind of complicated. They, again, sometimes pursue legislation that is not aligned with donor conceived people, but is aligned with adoptees and largely NPEs, which is a large part of their base.
Yeah.
And so if you put donors on birth certificates at the moment, you can weaken parentage protections. So parentage is a legal relationship between a parent and a child.
Yeah.
You can weaken that for the non-genetic parent because of the lack of laws regarding donor conception. So unlike adoption, donor conception in states is far less codified, so in the statute. And so because of that, putting a donor on a birth certificate may result in a child being separated from their intended parents, the people who are raising them and their siblings. And so the additive birth certificate, absent comprehensive parentage protections, could actually harm donor conceived children, which is why we advocate for a separate record keeping system for donor conceived people unrelated to the birth certificate. So, for example, in the law that we're advocating for, the banks and clinics must maintain the records. So they don't actually go over to vital records, but you could have a separate document of vital records. The problem is with this birth certificate, if you place a donor on a birth certificate, you could harm children.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of like how I feel about, instead of messing with the birth certificate, having an adoption certificate in addition to, you know what I'm saying? Like leave the birth certificate. Yeah.
That's, I think, one of our biggest disagreements between the organization that I work for with, I do government affairs for them, and Right to Know. It is our position that a birth certificate actually no longer records biological parentage, right? The biological parents. In practice, what it actually records, regardless of what it's called, is legal parentage. So it changes when legal parentage changes, like with adoption.
So that's basically how it is now, right?
That's exactly our point. That's how it is now. And so I don't really care what we call it, but trying to revert the birth certificate back to the way it supposedly is supposed to be, right? It ought to be in their minds, could risk the rights of donor conceived people to the families that are raising them. And ultimately, family separation is never good for a child. And so undermining that legal relationship between a parent and the children they're raising harms children. It leads to family separation. And so I'm happy for them to create whatever other documents that they want, but anything that undermines that relationship is bad for children.
So you're saying if me and my partner we accepted a donor, right? And having the donor on the birth certificate, say the birth certificate said there's 3 parents at this point.
That's only legal in a few states, but if the donor is a parent, they're not a donor. That's called platonic co-parenting. It's not donor conception. A donor gives their genetic material with the understanding and the intent not to be a legal parent, because legal parentage has rights and responsibilities like child support,
right,
and all sorts of other benefits like the ability to make medical decisions, educational decisions. I'm sure you're aware. Social Security, death benefits, all of that stuff. A donor is not supposed to have that relationship to the child. So if they do, that's no longer donor conception, if that is the intent from the beginning. There are courts that establish a donor as a parent, but that was not their intent. The problem is when these relationships get muddled. So what you don't want is your partner not to be on the birth certificate and not to have rights to the child that's being born, because say something were to happen, let's say you were carrying the pregnancy to you in childbirth, then the child is put at risk because the non-genetic parent may not be able to make medical decisions for the child, for example, if the genetic parent was to pass away. Prior to completing a second parent adoption. down the line, which sometimes can take months after a child is born, which is why anything that undermines that intent-based parentage, which not all states have, but we're trying, harms children.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So much to look into with this. So much. Oh, Lala has requested. Let me check.
I'm gonna mute because I really do have to go pick up.
Okay, no problem. Let me check your stats, Lala. Lala has one comment, one share, and 0 likes. Oh, a question for Jamie. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Because to access the panel, you need 3 things. Now 4 things, apparently. They all start with the Daily Heart Me. Tapping or being a super fan, that's 1. Daily Heart Me super fan, that's 1. 2 is Daily Heart Me accessing the gift gallery or the live goal, that's 2. Daily Heart Me and sharing it out 60 times, which is a power share, and 1K taps. So those are the 3 ways. And now apparently be donor conceived, instant access. So you're ultimately looking to establish pre-birth transfer of parental rights. Ooh, she's picking up food, so hopefully we can get that answer soon. Freeways.
No, because pre-birth transfer of rights would suggest that it's what they're arguing currently in Florida on the surrogacy arrangements, which is untrue, except they think it's true. A pre-birth transfer of rights would assume, because you cannot have rights to a child that is not a child, would assume embryonic personhood. So no, we're not. We're arguing contracts, so a contractual agreement to the gametes or embryos, or to the person's time, labor, yada yada for the pregnancy. We're not arguing a transfer of rights. We're arguing that when a child is then born, the people who entered that contractual agreement are to be presumed to be the legal parents. But intent-based parentage is also a rebuttable presumption, similar to the marital presumption. So if you had an affair and a child were to be born within your marriage, the rebuttable presumption would then be this husband is the legal parent, despite any not relatedness. Like if because of that legal relationship between the couple. Similarly, because of the existence of this agreement, that then creates a rebuttable presumption.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is definitely a topic we need to talk more about. Thank you so much, Jamie, for being here. I hope you are available later on at 4 p.m. where we will be continuing the conversation. I think you are the only donor-conceived person that has been in my lives, and I'm hoping that's going to change. And I wonder if that is because people that are donor-conceived don't see adoptee spaces as spaces for them.
It's complicated. I think that donor-conceived people and adoptees sometimes overlap, but often have disagreements, particularly on this app. And have had conflict similar to a lot of what has happened in adoptee space here on TikTok.
Well, I tell everybody this is not an adoptee only space. My lives are systems involved space. So this live is always centering the voices of foster parents, adoptive parents, birth parents with children in the system, former foster youth, adoptees, social workers, case workers, and now donor conceived, because this is a whole subset, I believe, of the overarching population of those of us that have been, I don't want to say victims, but affected by, what did they say at the conference? Family formation for profit. I think that's kind of the thing.
I think so. I think that does exclude that there are definitely many arrangements that are not for profit in these spaces.
True. Yeah, one of my friends is not for profit. Go ahead.
So it's not even just not for profit. Sometimes family members, for example, like your partner's brother will be a donor to
Right.
you,
And it's not.
and so you may have a legal agreement, but you actually never exchange any money.
True.
And so I came up with the term. I have to go figure out what it was again. I sent it to an adoptee.
Okay. If
but
you find it, please send it to me.
Oh, will do.
All right. And if you're around at 4 p.m., please do come back. We will be continuing this conversation because I feel like even less is known. Like, I feel like so many people have bad and wrong information or no information about foster care and adoption. Even less is known about donor conceived and surrogacy. So,
well, they're currently trying to make it a big political issue, those groups I was telling you about, because they want to overturn marriage equality. And in overturning a marriage equality, the marital presumption would no longer apply to same-sex couples. And so our law, it's called the Uniform Parentage Act, which is not exactly our law. We didn't write it, we didn't draft it, but we were involved in editing it and updating it to include our perspective. And it's from a nonpartisan legal commission. But the Uniform Parentage Act creates this new presumption that is not based on biology or marriage. It's based on intent because of these agreements. And so they oppose it because part of their goal in overturning marriage equality is to destabilize same-sex couples and their families and separate those legal relationships between children because they don't think that same-sex couples should be raising children. And so they don't want that automatic legal relationship. Nevertheless, what is in a child's best interest is to have a legal relationship from birth with the parents that are going to be raising them, because when you don't, and you have to do this second parent adoption stuff, some states you have to wait 6 months, a year before you're eligible for it. Yeah. And throughout that time, let's say the non-genetic parent were to pass away, the child cannot get Social Security death benefits from that parent because they were not legally related to that parent. So it ultimately disenfranchises the children to not have these legal relationships. And so I don't personally really care what their opinion is on, well, I personally disagree with them, but I don't care. They can hold that opinion. I think they're bigoted, but that's really not my problem my immediate problem on this issue at the moment. My immediate issue is what is in the best interest of the children. And it's simply not to destabilize their families because they hate gay people that much. It's just not.
Right. Woo, okay. Thank you so much. This is where we're going to have to end this live for now because I got to shift to my day job, and then we'll be back 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please come back. We will be continuing the conversation, finding out what do you know, what have you heard, what have you experienced, what do you think, what do you feel, all of that stuff. Excuse me. For now, I will play our exit song. This is a song I used to sing with my bio family at the end of our supervised visits. Thank you so much for being here, Jamie. This is a supervised visit. We're being supervised by the app. We're being supervised by trolls. We're being supervised by people trying to decide if they want to join our community or not. If you're going to stick around for the song, tap it out, dance it out. If you're not, live your wild and wonderful life because you deserve it. And I hope to see you at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, let's